Yeah, my name is Vincent Ling. I've been in biotech in the Boston area for the past 31 years or so. And I've been a scientist for most of my career here. And the past 10 years or so, I've migrated to business development. So I have a lot of experience in communicating basic science with clients and potential customers. Well, I mean, part of the problem is that biology is really complex, right? And it's also constantly unfolding, so people are learning more and more. And so as a result, it's hard to explain things to people when you're very specialized because the people who are hearing might not be as specialized as you. But I can guarantee that they will never be as specialized as the founders of these biotech companies. And so sometimes there's a gap, right? They forget that people could be educated in a different area and not necessarily yours. And when they last heard about your area, it could have been 10, 15 years ago. And so when you talk, when a potential customer comes or client comes and gives a presentation, sometimes they forget about this 15-year gap. And if that's not clarified, the ideas that the person they're talking to might be just out of date. And it's important to close that gap so everybody starts on the same page. Hmm. Well, it always starts with a set of materials that you can present to people quickly, and so that's why the initial pitch deck is very important. And you can't escape the pitch deck. You always have to make a personal introduction and an impact. And the first few minutes makes a huge difference because a lot of times a person who's listening to you, they're trying to filter to see if this is relevant to what they do on an everyday basis. But you don't want to make the pitch deck your first entry because you're relying on their memory of your research area, which they might not have, thought about in 10 years. And so to fill in that gap, I always like to use videos, short 2-minute videos that can bring them up to speed on what's known, what the problem is, and how it can be solved. And the questions will come later, and you fill that in the pitch deck, but at least you level the playing field right up front. Yeah, so usually when I give some advice, I would say make the videos as accessible as possible, right? And so a lot of times people, when they give a pitch deck, just embed the video inside, right? Or have a link in there so they can watch it, right? And that could be slide two, please watch the instructional video here. I also suggest to put this on your website in the very front page, right? To get everybody on the same page instantly. Now, it's not just any video because I've used other people who've done videos that don't explain properly, right? And so there's a certain art to it, and that's why I think it's necessary to have professionals on the other end that make the video to make it really come alive and really do the appropriate amount of explaining. Yeah, life science animation. One thing that's really great about the company is that they're professional script writers and storytellers there. Now, maybe I'm a little bit biased because my wife is an author, right? So I understand the power of storytelling. And so you need professionals who understand how to craft a story. A lot of times things make sense to, the person who is the founder, right? Because it's their technology. But from the outside world, it's impenetrable. And so you need people on the outside to reduce it down to a level that is correct but also leaves open questions and follow-on conversations. And there's an art to this, and there's an art to the placement of objects and animations used, because if you are inappropriate in presenting something, people might start to wonder if you really know what you're talking about. And so you have to have a science aspect, you have the storytelling, and a design feel to it. And so all these things have to come together.